So I'm going to tell you some stuff. So basically, here's what happened. We're going to take a break. We'll get back to either that game or maybe Castlevania 3 in a bit. But, to talk more about, like I said, this past week I had to spend some time in San Antonio. Had to deal with some family business, help take care of my grandmother down there. And basically because I am pretty much cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I am flat out nuts, I admit that. I made the decision I was going to take the train down there. Because one of the big reasons was, my mother had left her car down there in San Antonio that I could use anyway. So, I hate long distance driving as it is, so yeah, I took the Amtrak Texas Eagle down from Fort Worth to San Antonio. Getting there on Sunday was not a big problem. The train was at Fort Worth ITC station pretty much on time, and we arrived in San Antonio at the scheduled time. Going back was a different story. I came home on Friday. And for those not aware, I had to be up between 5:30 and 6 a.m. in order to catch to hire a lift car that would take me from my grandmother's house to Sunset Station in downtown San Antonio, which is right next to the Alamo Dome. In order to make sure I got there for a scheduled departure time of 7 a.m. We were allowed to board the train at 7 a.m. We did not leave the station until around 10 p.m. The reason we had to do that was we had to wait for another train, the Sunset Limited, I believe it's called, that arrives at San Antonio from Los Angeles, so they could actually connect some of the cars from that train to the Texas Eagle. The Sunset Limited ended up running 4 hours behind schedule. And because of that, we ended up departing 3 hours behind schedule. And as a result, ended up arriving finally in Fort Worth, sure enough, 4 hours late. Just like the Sunset Limited. And for what it's worth, it's not like having to wait on there was a huge problem. In this day and age, because you've got your phones and stuff to... Let me check some things here. I better to go. But anyway, because we got our phones and laptop computers and all types of stuff, you can pass the time away on a delayed train trip, just like you probably could do at the DMV and whatnot. So that's not the problem. I do want to talk about about the fact that I think the frustration is the trains don't necessarily have to end up running that late. If they would just put more effort and resources into the trains, we throw away so much money in federal subsidies to oil companies and the airline companies. But we expect Amtrak to just survive on its own with what minimal subsidy it gets. And then we give them very little to work with, and then blame them when things don't run smoothly. Like, here's the frustrating thing I found out. I've been wanting for a long time to try taking the train, maybe one day from here to Florida, in case I want to go to Walt Disney World again. There's no train service now connecting in between Florida and New Orleans. Like, the Sunset Limited stops finally in New Orleans. There's no further direct eastbound train past New Orleans. The reason for that is apparently the tracks got majorly messed up from Hurricane Katrina. And if you don't remember, Hurricane Katrina happened, I believe, in 2005 or 2004. They haven't fixed the tracks since then. That's at least 14 years. They still haven't gotten around to fixing the tracks in between Louisiana and Florida so a commercial train can run on them efficiently. That's how bad things are. And it doesn't matter which government it is. I mean, like I said, in that time period, we've had Republican presidencies, Democrat presidencies, both Republican and Democratic run Congresses. It's still all the same. It's just give all the money to the airlines and not do anything to make trains more efficient. And the thing is, you give commercial rail transport enough good resources so they could run efficiently, I almost guarantee you more people would ride them. Because the process of getting on board a train, so much easier, so less infuriating than having to board a commercial airline and dealing with the airports. Dealing with a train station, so much easier, so much better to deal with. And I'm going to keep trying as best as possible to be on trains as much as I can. If not, I'll deal with Greyhound, I'll deal with the bus as possible. And just keep that in mind. As difficult as it was spending 11 hours on an Amtrak train Friday to get from a point A to point B that would have taken me minimum of 4 hours driving, still better than dealing with the airports.